Hey everyone, it's Andrea, and welcome to Scenes Out of Place. If you don't know, I have a short story book called Scenes Out of Place, where I have multiple stories that feature zombies, dragons, and surviving in space. And there are a couple more ideas that might fit into those worlds, but don't necessarily need a whole new book. So I'm bringing them to you in an audio edition. So sit back and enjoy some of the stories that didn't make it to the final edition, but still need to exist. Episode 1, Aquilon. This scene takes place in the world of Touched by Dragon Fire from Scenes Out of Place. It is the first-hand account of a survivor as the great water serpent awakens. I will let you decide if she was fortunate or unfortunate by this experience. Enjoy. Do you know what it's like to see a dragon wake up? I do. And God, I wish I didn't. But I lived with that horrible knowledge of watching a sea serpent, a dragon, come alive. The day started off normal. I was on vacation. Some friends and I had saved up for 2 years. 2 whole years. We scrimped, we saved, we hoarded vacation days. And finally, we were on a cruise to nowhere. You know those cruises that just drift around the ocean, no destination in mind, just open water and time to breathe. That's what we wanted. That's what we signed up for. 2 weeks to disconnect from the world, while still enjoying every comfort imaginable. We liked glamping, not camping. But I've always loved the water. As a kid, I swear I could swim before I could walk. Something about being surrounded by the sea, the endless quiet, it was calming to me. Floating in the middle of the ocean for days on end sounded like peace. Now, I can't even stand to look at a pool. Nothing larger than a bathtub felt safe anymore. We had no idea what happened hours before. We didn't hear the roar that echoed through that cavern when the first dragon woke up. We had no idea. We were still in paradise, our perfect paradise. And then, just like that, it became hell. I was on the top deck, probably one of the few survivors who'd been out there. I liked watching the sun come up. People always say the sunrise over the mountains or the city skyline is breathtaking, but have you seen it come out of the ocean? When it climbs out from the edge of the sea, it's like the earth is waking up. It's like watching the sun be born. Every morning, I made a point to be out there before sunrise. No matter how tired I was, I had to see the sun come up. Seeing it rise out of the ocean, that was my kind of beautiful. It was so beautiful. And then the alarm blared. I don't know how the crew knew. Maybe it showed up on their radar. Maybe there was a warning from someone somewhere. I don't know. But the alarm rang out loud and shrill, and the voice telling everyone to get inside. I was close to the door, so I ran. I had just made it in through the double doors when I heard it. That sound. That sound that made me stop cold. It was a roar so deep and massive it vibrated in my chest. Everyone who was still on the top deck had gone still, frozen in fear. It wasn't just the volume of the roar, it was the way it felt, like it reached inside of you. Then then came the impact, that deep boom that rocked the entire ship. Like it was like the ship was hit by a freight train. But we were in the middle of the ocean. It didn't make sense. There wasn't any sea life in the ocean that should have been able to harm us like that. I remember being thrown into the wall, and everything went fuzzy for a little bit. When I opened my eyes, I felt the blood from my forehead running down my face. I wiped it away and staggered to my feet, and I looked back out. You know how in movies, when something huge rises out of the sea, there's like this dramatic slow motion of water displacement, and you see the ripple of the water over top of it before it breaks? Yeah, that's exactly what this looked like. Something enormous was rising beneath it. At first, I couldn't make sense of it. I had no idea what I was looking at, just something impossibly large. And then it finally broke through. A massive body, slick and gleaming dark blue, and its scales looked like wet stone, and water just poured off of it in sheets, and it flooded the deck. And the people who were still out there, they were washed off the deck. They didn't even stand a chance. It was big, so big, bigger than our ship. And it was long and it was slender and it just looked powerful and it kept coming out of the ocean. I stood there in mute horror, just staring at it because it was real. I was looking at it. It was a sea serpent. It was a dragon, and it was towering above us. I remember people screaming as others began to pour up the stairs and around me, everyone coming to see it. Families with children, couples, other groups of friends. Some were running to it, some were running away. The ship kept rocking as the serpent moved, shifting its massive body, displacing more and more water. That beautiful morning was gone in a moment. There was one guy, couldn't have been older than 20, pulled out his phone and started recording. I have no idea what happened to him, no clue if that footage survived. I had my phone in my hand at the time, too. I was taking photos of the sunrise. I had been taking photos every morning. I mean, I know they look alike, but each day it was just slightly different. The orange hues were brighter on some days than others. I heard someone mutter, "The devil is rising from the deep." And another woman whispered, "It's a water serpent, a water dragon." And then that word dragon spread like wildfire. No one was arguing. Everyone knew. It was real. Sometimes I still can't even believe I'm saying that. Its scales shimmered like the ocean itself. You wouldn't see it until it was too late. And then it noticed us. I saw its head turn so slowly, and then it was looking right at us. And before we could move, before we could even think, it hurled its body over the ship. And we flipped and flipped. There was something inside of me that told me to grab the railing before it hit us. And I held onto it with everything as we rolled like a log in a river, like a toy in a bathtub. People screamed, bodies hit the ceiling and the floor again, glass shattered, the world spun, and then we were upright again. I was still holding onto the railing, bruised, bleeding, and dazed. And around me, I saw that others hadn't been so lucky. Some were motionless, some were crying, and some didn't stay intact. And then I heard it again. Another massive cracking sound. I looked up just in time to see the serpent wrapping its body around the ship like it was trying to squeeze us apart. The ceiling above me gave way and I ducked, curling into myself, trying to make myself as small as possible. I thought I was going to die right then and there, but somehow I didn't. When I came to, I was still gripping the railing. My arms were locked around it, shaking, and the hallway where I had been was now half gone. The sky was where the ceiling was, and I saw the serpent again, twisting and circling and dragging its body through the water with a grace that would have been beautiful if it was not killing us. And then I realized it. The ship was broken into two pieces. I realized I didn't know where my friends were. I didn't know anything, but I knew I had to move. So I climbed. The staircase was tilted and I used it like a ladder, and I forced my way up until I stood at what had become the new top of my part of the ship. The air was filled with screaming and smoke and sharp pops from small explosions. Fires were breaking out across the wreckage, and through all of it, that serpent moved with a beautiful grace, so terrible, so real. For a second, I almost forgot to be afraid. Watching it cut through water was mesmerizing. And then it reminded us of why it was a dragon. It let go of the ship, and people, desperate people, clung to the debris in the water. I saw it rise again, higher than before, and it reared back and breathed in. I felt the wind pull at my clothes, whip my hair into my face, and I knew what was coming. So I jumped. The moment I hit the water, it exhaled. The blast of the bright blue fire tore across the surface. I felt the shockwave in the water, even from below. And I forced myself to stay submerged, not knowing if it would be enough. When I surfaced, everything above me was on fire. I didn't think it was possible, not in the ocean, but it burned. It all burned, a bright blue flame that did not go out. I could smell the metal melting. I could smell people's flesh burning. And I could hear their screams. I still hear their screams. So I swam. I swam without looking back. I was in the middle of the ocean, had no idea which way land was, but I didn't care. I didn't want to die like that. So I swam. I bumped into something. It was plastic, a raft. And I pulled myself onto it. And I guess there were other survivors too, because 5 other people pulled themselves on. And we clung to that raft, paddling with our hands, trying to get away. Because behind us, the serpent sank beneath the waves. And in a moment, it was like it was never there at all. I never saw my friends again. And I don't know what happened to the thousands of others who were on that ship. All I know is that we survived. But sometimes I wonder, was this world still worth surviving in? Hey guys, it's Andrea, and I want to thank you for listening to episode 1 of Scenes at a Place, audio edition. I really hope you enjoy this short story, and I hope you stay around for the next ones. I love telling stories, and I cannot wait to bring another one to life. If you want to stay up to date to everything that I'm working on, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon. The links to my information are in the show description. I can't wait to see you guys there.